we have a wide a variety, like a diverse panel here. Like from we have a variety of people with different skill sets, different fields that they have experiences in, and even age-wise, there's a lot of diversity, which I'm very happy about. So now that we have people from the academia, from the industry, and from the government, I'd like to open the panel discussion with a question for all the panelists here. Uh, you one by one, tell me what in your experience is the state of academia industry collaboration as it stands today in the space and defense technology sectors. So some of the speakers have already touched upon this briefly, but I would appreciate everyone's opinions. Would anyone like to start?
So, academia industry, when we talk about, I think there are three verticals in terms of the type of industries. There are something called traditional, which were like DRDO or ISRO or defense PSUs. Then there is a new vertical that is created over the last 5 to 10 years, which is a startup and the industry, the academia. And there is a traditional industry setup, which is again the older companies like the Godrej, the Tatas, or even medium level industries which have been involved in the defense and aerospace domain from over 20 years, and they are doing a lot of subsystems or modules, various other things. So when we come to the first collaboration between the DPSUs and the ISRO DRDO with the industry, the academia, that is pretty well set and has been going on from last 20-30 years. The startup ecosystem which has come up in the last 5 to 10 years, that is benefiting a lot from the academia, because most of these startups are basically coming from the academia. They are either the students or the companies which are coming there and getting incubated, and that's how the collaboration is happening. With the traditional companies, the ones that have been working in the domain from over last 20-30 years, the private players, there the interaction with the academia is a little bit more limited. If you talk about companies like Tata's or Godrej or Mahindra, they have a very limited interaction with academia compared to the other two verticals.
Would anyone like to add on to that? People with experience in this field, how do you think this kind of collaboration, the frequency of such collaborations and the nature of such collaborations have changed over the past decade?
I think, let me introduce myself. I'm J.V. Ramurthy. I was the president and CEO of HCL with 32 years of experience, 10 years in the field of aeronautics. And in last 2 years, I'm connected with IIT Madras, and last 32 years, I'm in Delhi. I'm finding the industry academia is good in some institutes, but not at all in many institutes. There are 23 IITs, 21 IIMs, etc. Everybody wants to be in the startup space. Not much of headway has been made. A lot of money is available in the government. There are a lot of encouragements coming up from the government. They are also looking for, government is also scrambling for good partners and good talent, where they can do dependably projects in time and use their money usefully. But that is not happened. The biggest thing I can think about it is IIT Madras has really taken a big lead, and followed by IIT Hyderabad. To some extent, and IIT Bombay has taken up. But the rest of the thing, I'm not saying. I'm connected with government for 32 years. I've been in Delhi. I've been meeting many of the people, many of the bureaucrats, many of the project monitoring heads. That's my opinion.
Would anyone like to add on to that?
The older IITs naturally have an advantage because we have been there for.
IIT Hyderabad has got up. It's a recently third generation IIT.
So Kharagpur and Delhi have also been quite involved.
IIT Delhi, yes. Less. I'm finding not much in thing, though their proximity to Delhi. Say all the central government ministries are so
not as much as it could be. Yeah.
As they can take more advantage out of it.
And also the DRDO, through DRDO, a lot of encouragement. Maybe Madam Bansal, Madam Nidhi Bansal, Madam can add to that.
So
I'll introduce myself. I'm Nidhi. I look after the Technology Development Fund scheme of the Ministry of Defense, which started in 2016. Somebody said in the morning that the government doesn't fund the private R&D. I'd like to put things straight that we are funding up to 50 crore per project for the industry directly. Up to 40% of that could go to the academy. So if somebody has gone through or is familiar with how the US government system works, they have something called Small Business Administration, SBA.org, and their two schemes are very successful. One of them is called SBIR and the other one is STTR. SBIR is Small Business Innovation Research, where the industry is the front facing and the academia, if required, can be there at the back. Something similar to what I was talking to you about, the Technology Development Fund. In the US, they do it in 3 phases. The first phase is the feasibility, the second one is the development phase, and the third phase is the commercialization phase of that, whatever technology has been developed. The third phase is not funded by the government, though the government helps the industry and it expects the industry to commercialize whatever has been developed through the government funding. I think that is where we have still not got up. The development and the feasibility and other things, we quite in parallel with how SPIR works. And the second scheme of theirs, that is STTR, in which there has to be the industry element and there has to be mandatorily academic element. So 30% and 40% are reserved for an industry and the academia, and the rest of the 30% depends. I mean, if it is an industry centric project, it could go to the industry. If it is an academic centric project, it could go. So the DRCOE scheme of the DRDO was talking to about is based on a similar thing where you have the academia taking the lead and doing the project, and in case it reaches that TRL where you think that a startup or an industry can put in some effort and try to bring it into some kind of a prototype, that is where they pitch in, and that is why it is the I in the DRCOE stands for. What DRDO is trying to do to realize the vision of the government of India, it is trying to touch upon the entire TRL spectrum, starting from very fundamental research, which is done through the research board and now the DRCOEs. The TDF is looking at something which is translational research, which is applied research, where it is starting at TRL 3 and it takes it up to 7 or 8. So as you all must be knowing, something which is called value of death, we were talking about it in the morning also, that yes, academia can take it up to some TRL, and that is TRL 3 and 4. Beyond that, until unless the user or somebody is there to fund it, the value of death will, I mean, the technology will meet that value of death and will not be able to survive. And that is the gap that DRDO is trying to fill through the TDF, trying to put in that money. And but then, like I said earlier, also the commercialization, the usage of those things, technologies that has been done, that is the TRL 8 and 9, where the industry has to find the feasibility of what has been done. Because finally, it is the business viability that the startups and the industry has to look at. Grant money, today it is 50, tomorrow, even if it becomes 100 crore, for that money, no good industry will put in the kind of time and energy that is required. Finally, at the end of the tunnel, they would want some business to be generated. And that business could be either the defense forces, because we are looking at the defense or dual use technologies, or the money has to come from the market forces. Traditionally, it is thought that it is always the free market which does this. But if you take US as an example, like I was talking to you about SPIR and other things, if you think what has made Apple as a smartphone, from a dumb phone to a smartphone, I think all the technologies that has gone into Apple has been some way or the other funded by the US government. So yes, the level playing field is good. The government has to give the level playing field to all the industry and startups together. But then it has to show which way it has to lead, which are the technologies which are required by the user. And I think that is the role that's a very important role. If we have to become that product nation or something, and that is where the role of DRDO is very important, because DRDO has a lot of experience. Willy-nilly, it has experience of 60 years plus with it. The kind of infrastructure that we have, the kind of expertise that we have. I think industry should come forward and take advantage of that. They should, yes, go ahead, do that synergy with the academia and take advantage, because DRDO is ready to give you the test facilities, ready to give you that hand holding that is required for you to come from here to.
So, I think you raised an important point here, which is my next question for all of you, which is what are the yardsticks that you measure a successful collaboration by? That, of course, you put in so much resources, but finally, what are the measures through which you see that, okay, this partnership has been worth it? Yes.
So to
Just one second. Before that question can be asked, what you are asking, is there a standard definition and an objective criteria for determining the TRL numbers?
we in DRDO are following the TRLs which are being taken by NASA. But yes,
Very
there is always an ambiguity as to what it is. So when I say TRL3, I actually mean the basic research, the applied research, the translational research, and the final product. So I'm not really getting into whether it is 3.5 or
Yeah, that's fine.
2.5 or something like that. No.
That's fine. The
Yeah.
point is, if for India and for DRD and for industry academic partnership, especially at the lower level, at the higher level, the larger industries can immediately recalibrate their relationship, absolutely no problem. But the smaller industries who have faced a lot of difficulty and they are not able to define at what level they can engage, because the absorption level is very poor. Small industries.
Absorption of their products and the services.
Technology absorption level. See, there is a corresponding part of technology readiness level,
Right.
which is the service provider,
Mhm.
and the technology absorption level, which is by the industry who is taking that. So there is a gap in understanding that objective test method and acceptance criteria, if it is made available by your organization, more finely I am saying, not NASA is 1957.
Right.
If you can make it better and serve specific technologies, I think it will be facilitated.
Can I?
Right.
See, what we are talking about currently, organizations like DRDO or ISRO, for the requirement a technology is paid. Then when it is really handing over to a industry, etc., the first is the level of absorption is low. Second part is, in other countries what happens is, from where such an R&D organization gives, the industry really scales to a industrial environment. When we also, ISRO is very cost effective, etc. In a industrial sense, it is not true, because the type of what we are employed and all are not really going into it. Whereas if a private industry has to do the same thing, all has to be accounted. So that means it becomes very expensive really for an industry to straight away do. Suppose that our problem here is when technology is transferred, we expect the industry to repeat whatever I do. Whatever I do is too extravagant, I will say. But when you, for example, no, for Chandrayaan mission, when we are asked for the navigation system, we have broken everything, every effort, and seen that the world best navigation system is. But if you, what has gone and if you cost, it is very reasonable. But the effort that has gone into in realizing is huge. So the technology has to be matured and absorbed, or the industry should scale it to a process such that they can survive making it. I am very sure many of the things industry takes it, they can supply back to the guys or DRDO or ISRO, not to the other environment. So that our business will be limited only to this. So from that point, see the industry, enabling the industry, I think that the ISRO and DRDO or the academic institutions also have a role to see something more better than what is done by the industry. Only that they can really do.
I'll give you a different take altogether. All we are discussing, what his point is brought up. We are living in the archaic situation. But discussion is archaic. Just take the case of, why I am saying this is, you take the case, two examples. One, you take the case of Ukraine war. 3 years back when I was studying the Ukraine war, the technologies which were there were at a particular level. The technologies which are being applied in the Ukraine war are completely different from what they were 3 years back. Completely different. You have to see to believe. What is the mantra? Cheap and best, small and best. They're still thinking of big technologies, TRL 128. TRL 128 is finished and out in that war. The new TRL has started. Same thing is happening over and over again. In every walk of life, if you see, that's the problem. Why is Apple able to come out with 4 models in a year? You think how we are missing the bus completely. Why is ISRO? I mean, I'm living example, notwithstanding what he said. I always study the ISRO model. Why is ISRO able to land Chandrayaan on? It's not as if we don't have examples. In the south side of Moon, at 1/4 the cost of anyone else in the world, including the Chinese. There is something, we have a capability. We are not able to put it together in every other walk of life. Why? The reason which is there, I mean, this is my way of looking at it, is our academic linkages are weak. I'll give you a thing. Look, I've been also a director in a major defense industry. I was sitting on their board. The defense industry is not prepared to invest into, research and development. The government has not developed, good, bad or ugly, our government has not developed research institutions beyond the behemoths called DRDO and things like that. You look at we all talk of the American model. In the American model, the research happens in universities. The best papers come out from the universities and those are immediately commercialized. I had a couple of French boys who I was teaching here. So I asked them, look, what's the difference between an MTech in India and what an MTech you get in Sorbonne? So he says, sir, there everything we do for a product. Or teaching is for a product. Whereas here, the learning is great, but the transformation into ground is, not very good. Yeah.
Let's take your point and discuss it
Yeah,
further because
and is there a need to change our entire academic system? Invest into our academic system is something which we need to talk. I am prepared. I mean, yeah.
we have people from the academia and we have the industry here as well. Why don't each of you give your own perspectives on when it comes to such collaborations? What are the obstacles that stand in your way? Why is the translation not happening so easily? The academia could start. Anybody from the academic institution.
So, I mentioned that briefly in my talk as well. This whole concept of translation is a relatively new concept in India. Because the concept is old, but the fact that academia should be also involved in translation and the fact that we should start thinking about it in a very formal manner is relatively new. Not be very new, but it's happening in a very serious way only now. And one of the reasons when I discussed this with my colleagues is also the fact that appetite for taking risk from the academicians and the appetite for withstanding risk from those who invest money in this is very poor. In the sense that if I put in so much money on the table, I would like to see to it that at the end of whatever time is thought out, there is a certain amount of call it as profit or return on investment. So I think there is definitely appetite for risk, especially when it comes to these kind of. And so, from the academicians' side as well, work out how is that going to impact one's career. Eventually, they're going to be evaluated in terms of how many papers you publish, how many students you graduated, how do you teach, and so on. Those are the metrics that largely academicians. So, if there is no incentive, or largely not much incentive in exploring these avenues as well. Other than the fact that you, as long as you teach well, you take up projects, publish papers, you're fine, you get all your promotions. There are only 3 promotions. So I think the incentive is missing to a large extent, but slowly the awareness is coming up, and events like this are meant to
So,
increase awareness.
when you say incentives to change the metric system of what you're judged by, what kind of incentives would you need, and is there anything that
Can I add to that?
Yeah, please.
Specifically,
Yeah.
today when a PhD student, associate professor, what is he gets 3 PhD people together, he is considered for an assistant professor. If he completes one industrial project which gets to the market, should be considered equivalent. Can we do that? The question. See, I tell you many such examples. Our thinking process, whatever stated, is all very good, but while implementing, we do the biggest muck-up takes place while implementing. How? DRDO, see the bylaws. General conditions are great. See bylaws. There was one 2017. Let me give quote examples instead of talking like this. Quote examples. Easy. One. ISRO put out one thing, 1 crore rupees ready to give, but they want IPR for all this navigational system with them. Who will ever give IPR for 1 crore, which is $200 billion industry? So I pointed out, and then things changed, went to Minister of IT. Again, things went up. Okay. One example is this. When I will give it, same DRDO projects you take. Where is the IPR laid? You see in your class, IPR is with DRDO, with Government of India. Why? Why should I, if you change that part? If you change, madam, that's nice. If you change that part, IPR is not with the government. It is with the person who is toiling it. I give money. Does it mean that money is, my IPR is there? No. First thing is that IPR, the thinking process should change. First part. Next is, yes, it has changed in some other projects. Any grant given to any education institution, including the basis of basic grant also, should be associated with the industrial partner who has to take this technology to the country. Can we do that? That's what, that's, yeah. Department of Telecommunications come to that level. Now they are reorganizing, restructuring, given that if they give one project, that has to have an industrial partner who will take this technology to the masses. Only those projects will be sanctioned. Can we have for every industrial, every academic project like that? Then, whatever academy we do, we will prepare our students for the industry. Today, I've shown you so many people coming from the academia to me for project work. They do not know what is the basics of how to attend an office. You leave out everything. What is the system that is teaching about attendance? For students, when they come to me, they cannot attend that one company thing. People, we keep discussing social media about 90 hours, 100 hours and all that thing. You know that what has come up. They cannot attend 8 hours. That is the practicality of it. I'm preparing them for it. And that's what it is. And if, see, people like ISRO, some people are there, older people I work with, dedicatedly they work for 16 hours, 20 hours. Okay. And I know when Dr. Paul went to Ladakh, got caught in that, slide also. How did he reach there? We do not know. But at least we could retrieve it. There are people like that. How do you prepare a student to work like this in today's environment is what education is. Then technology will be for the country. We are a poor country. or costing will be lesser, resources will always be at short. I'm from industry, I'm talking from industry. Whatever I've done here, you should know the amount of what is the tension I've gone through to make one equipment. That is one part. Next is, can we foreclose a project? We conceived a project, good project, academia has come up, industry has come up, we conceived, okay, I will make like this. At phases of TRL, people, in the one case where we projected thing, we said it will be closing at TRL 6, because that is only feasible with this money. Some accounts person is neither industrial person, nor user, not what is the industry, not that academia. No one connected. He puts no with this money, why don't you reach TRL 9? Everyone is obliging it. Can we remove this academic, that accounts person? Let's remove it, no? Then it will be a meaningful thing. Then I should, as an industrial partner or an academic person, we should jointly lay down for a project what are the milestones.
Actually, we have someone who can respond to that. We have two startups who have been incubated in campus, so they've.
Let me complete one more last part.
Yeah.
And can we foreclose? See, I'm working, I'm able to get onto some product. Suddenly we find some either a academic challenge or a industrial challenge comes. For example, for me to manufacture a green color plastic, it's a big thing for me. Though we have overcome that part over a period of time, but it was a problem at some point in time. I say, okay, I cannot go ahead with this. Can we foreclose the project? We should be ready to foreclose a project with that. Take it as a failure. Can we do that? That is also there. So when we do the academic or industry partnership for any product development, what I want to do is that first is your TRL, don't go for TRL and all that. You lay down your own objectives and ensure if the objective is not reached, be ready to close. Your accounting system has to change. And when you only change all this, we can keep talking. But account person, if he doesn't give the money, nothing is going to move. Like one project we put up for 2.4 crores. Some, I don't know how they took that comparative factor in DST, 82 lakhs they given. How do we do? 1/3 of it, and 2 years, how can I do it? This accounting system has to change with, accounting system has to lay down by the academic partner or the industrial partner. The account, how much money will be cost? Can we go by that? Such changes on that. Now others can share.
Like to respond?
Just to add to his accounting part, so in a lot of, although the government is trying to involve startup and private industry in a big way, but when it comes down to the actual paperwork, it's a very elaborate process to involve a private agency or a startup directly. And in personally, in my experience, there have been cases where they would want IIT to basically take the project because it's very difficult for them, or it's a very elaborate process for them to directly fund a startup or a private industry. So, in order to avoid that process, they want it to give to a government agency because it's a government to government, a much easier process for them.
Sorry, just one clarification. By they.
By they meaning any either you can take DRDO, ISRO, or even DPSUs. A government funding agency who's funding the project, either it is a end user or it is a developing agency like this.
Then, as Nidhi ma'am said that a lot of resources are allocated towards the development of private R&D as well. How would you respond to that?
No, so accounts or audit, like it or not, is a part of the government system. When we're looking at, you can have a wish list, but you can't keep them up.
This accounts person also is bound by our what are the international goals. Can't we change the system for accounting for this such projects?
Can be away from them. When the objective of the organization is not met, I think the accounts person role is redundant. It has to be along with the goals and set accepted. No, he is taking the
Example, ask for it, ma'am. If we push it, it will come through.
So we are trying, let me put it, we are trying from DRDO to make a chapter in GFR, which will make all these things a little more easier. We are saying GFR chapter for R&D through industry and academia.
Sometime back, I
Yeah,
think
so
GFR
we
issues with the government of India on with raising foreign exchange, because we pick up at some order value and foreign exchange shows totally it goes or nobody has clue also. neither any type of issues of what exchange, the basis on which you can take the forward, it also cannot hold good. We took it up with them, the same Ministry of Finance agreed that they are willing to consider it, but it should be number of fluctuations that goes up. If it is considered within 1 or 2, we will agree it within the year. And they have agreed for it.
So
It is
that
the
is
same.
how
The issues are not with, see, the problem is the supporting ministry should, whatever it is there, the parent ministry has to support it. But that is not the problem, then nothing will go. See, I have seen in the, these are all issues with respect to regulatory issues. Or if any type of advocacy, regulatory, and naturally it will come with implementation.
No, but I don't think that there is anything that is lacking in the intention of the.
No. At the end,
What I'm trying to say is, if you see the GFR 2017, the rule number 233 said that we can give grants only to the R&D institutions and academies. However, in 2021, they have edited it saying that a few departments, which DRDO is also included, can give it to the private industry.
That has been brought in, but the accounts people or those mindset has not been changed.
right.
A simple purchase order as well as an R&D development is treated same way.
Sir,
You complete this on such and such a day and get the payment of.
Sir, now they ask for 3 people, 3 quotations to be given. 3 quotations, where is
For
the
startup foundation, where is the quotation? Now, same GEM has accepted it.
That's what.
See, and also I'm telling you one thing,
So
please also look at
government
it.
has asked for the recommendations from our department.
No.
We have forwarded it.
No, that's not alone enough. You should also come along with the industry. Then it will happen. I'm telling you one thing. Today's situation is different from what 15 years back. The products are changing, pricings are changing, specifications are changing, and it becoming lighter. And also, by the time you bring the technology in these steps, it is obsolete, or that is the last item that is available. How will you take care of it after sales revenue, after sales part of it? All those things are becoming an issue by
Maybe as
itself.
a panel recommendation, we can write it to whomever and let it go wherever
No,
it has to go. And
parent
when
ministry
you-
has to be involved, otherwise nothing will
We
happen.
can always back
Anything
it
will
up.
go through only
Yeah,
through
yeah.
the parent ministry.
One of the issues I think most people get upset is somewhere down the line, because when we deal with PSUs or for that matter DRDO, both PSUs and DRDO themselves are upset about the finance person because it seems like it's tail wagging the dog, right? And not the technical people making the decisions, but the financial people making the decisions. That's one aspect. The second aspect is right now in your GFR or whatever rules, the procurement and R&D are treated the same way,
equal,
and
yes.
that has to change.
So that is why we have given our recommendations. And we are very hopeful that those will be met.
And the third
But I'm
point,
sure
madam,
that
is
if, yeah.
And the recent statement by the Chief of Air Staff about the number of aircrafts of Tejas not being supplied in the last year is a really serious concern. I met him few days back in Delhi. When I asked him, you made a very bold statement, he says there's a fact, it should not have happened if it is in the private side also. It is true, it cannot be having 65 years, 70 years under PSU rules, all of them will be there. But fact is somewhere it is beyond their capability to accept. It is not because of their hardware capability, because a lot of software and application related software and a lot of cyber issues are all to be embedded into a system. If that set of situation is not available in PSU, if there is a bug or if there is an induction of a new arm in an aircraft or any type of arsenal, there is no way that these people can do. All that they do is again starting the JSS specifications and doing the type testings, etc. But that itself will take 2 years to get it. By the time the neighbors will be ready with another set of weapons. There is no way that we can work on this situation thinking that we can do, we are all bright people, that those are all good for academics. But fact is, it does not encourage the private side. It does not encourage the startup. Neither they are able to do. It is a dog in the manger.
Madam, the third point I wanted to make was if you look at your GFR, even now what you are mentioning is GFR, you are cognizant of all our complaints, and GFR is trying to put in a chapter on research and development procurement. The problem is, even when this is being done, usually the way it seems to be working is you come up with a document and seek out some opinion from us, and that's that, right? And minor modifications are done. Rather than that, in evolving this chapter itself, why can't both industry and academia be involved while evolving and have more brainstorming session, not just not just as a after the document is done to make some minor modification. The very
part of it, but I think
no,
there
that's
are.
I'm suggesting you should
No,
suggest.
I'm saying there are enough deliberations which are happening.
Unfortunately, that's not true, madam. Even when I look at whether it's drone thing or whether this finance kind of thing, the deliberations are okay. We had to have a deliberation. We had a deliberation today, and that's
I'll
that.
be speaking something which I'm not really part of. So I'm not.
Why are we attacking?
Yes, I should not be.
Both ladies.
I'll go with her. Look, we are all part of the game. Okay. She is not the one whom we can
But she is on our side.
She is on our side.
I like to add one
Let me, if you want, direct it to me. Okay.
I want to add one recommendation.
Yeah.
In such discussions, whatever academy is taking up, we should have representatives from the CGTA, from the accounts
उसको भी
department,
छोड़ो
from the banking.
फाइनेंशियल वाले को भी छोड़ो बहुत हो
Actually,
गया
that is a good
We
point,
should,
and
we
we
should
had
have
it
them
in
to
other.
understand our pain points here.
See, procurement procedures
See,
for an R&D project, see, the approach should be totally different. But what they are saying is you are adding one more clause. So, but this will be tied with another clause somewhere. So, net effect
So
is.
what I suggest is that this discussion, let's bring this accounts people inside, financial people inside is my idea.
I'll look, let's turn the thing. What can the academic system do? How can we replicate what is happening in the outside world? Rather than what he said, just write a paper and take a project, write 4 papers, get a PhD and get going. How can we change that? Because intellectual capital is, I'll give you the problem. Why is it that all students from IIT Madras or for that matter any IIT are more keen to go abroad and serve Microsoft, Amazon, ये वो and all that? And why don't they serve our own people? वहाँ जाके DeepSeek बनाते हैं यार. Why they go and make ChatGPT there? Why is it not happening here? What is it that we change? Because if this is the root cause change which happens, the rest everything will happen.
Okay, you described, I am the persona you described. Okay, okay, so first thing is money. The amount of money that you make working for a Cisco or a Microsoft or something is mind-boggling. Right? 10, 12 years you can make easily a few $1 million, which changes like there is no way you will make that money. Yeah? At least 20 years back, or 30 years back, that was not possible. Now, through a startup, you can do it. Okay. Now, there's few fundamental differences by American industry, by American companies, which practically 50% of the staff, whether it is Microsoft or Cisco or Google, 50% are people of Indian origin, right? Educated here mostly in IITs and non-IITs as well, right? Or IAC, right? The same people can create $1 trillion profits, $1 billion product lines and all that sell worldwide, right? But and the interesting fact is all of them have development centers in India. They develop the same products. It's not that in India, many of them, at least Cisco, I know very well. I used to work for Cisco many years. I worked in India as well. It's the same thing that happens here as well. It's the focus on management. And I'll tell you just few things. I don't want to take too much time. First thing is, there is enormous focus on failing fast. Because when you are looking for globally competitive products, you are inventing technologies. You don't want to take too much time to develop something, invest too much money, and then realize, oh, it doesn't work. So the whole culture of failing fast, the day one, the focus is on risk assessment. Okay, what are some of the things that may fail? Okay, and that is what we started with always. That let us first. We used to have brainstorming sessions for days. What all can go wrong? Let's first rule them out. That's when you start. The second thing, that does not happen here at all. It happens in American companies, at least in Cisco in India it happens. I work for Juniper also in India. It happens there, but when I came out of that system or in other ecosystems, I have not seen that happen at all.
I am Karthikeyan. I had my master's from IIT Madras and I also did a master's from Indian Institute of Science. I was working DRDO, Kochi. I found with all my qualification, the kind of work I was doing was very low level. Even a BSc physics person could have done. Then luckily, one professor from US University came to visit our lab. Then my director, Dr. Atre was the director of my lab at that time. He told me this person has very good qualification. Why don't you take him to US and give some? I said, okay, yeah. He looked at my qualification and then, okay, you have IIT Madras, IIC. Then he said, okay, you come to me, I will give you a PhD. Okay. So I was very happy that I could go to, just like that, go to US and take a PhD. So I went there, then he has given an assistantship and all that, all the things there. But when I went there, and then I was trying to discuss what research I have to do. Then Professor said, Karthikeyan, let us not discuss. Right? To research, we need money. And we'll see first how we get the money. Then I found every student there. He had a big group of students. Every student was writing a project proposals. And I said, what are we going to do with project? Then he said, and then the professor told me, US, there are some agencies, funding agencies, and they call for specific research proposals from various universities. The same proposal can be, from different universities, different groups, even private people can give the proposal to these funding agencies, and they will initially fund you for about 1 year or 5 years or something like that. Small amount. £5,000, $5,000 or $10,000, something like that. Okay. Then this is given to they evaluate the proposals. Then for the same project, they fund about 5 or 6 or depending on some number of institutions. But the work done by these people in these few years is highly strictly evaluated, and after those 1 or 2 years projects, many of the people lose out there. No more money. Only 1 or 2 selected, and they will be funded further. 50,000 bonds. Like that. So then those people really do the work, and that project comes up. Whereas the other people who initially started didn't do good work, they lose out. So I think that's a very good way of managing money. Whereas we in India don't do that. If you don't mind, I'll also tell you, when I joined DRDO, my boss, Dr. Chintan was there. He asked me to do a project proposal. So the project proposal was just to go to the Navy people, ask them to drop some explosives in the water, and the sound generated by that we record. We had different ships, 2 ships. One ship will move away and record at different ranges. This was the project, 5-year project. And because the Navy was providing us explosives, and we had just the recording equipment already, the only cost for this project was the money required for some of us to go to the Bombay or Visakhapatnam or someplace and do the experiment. Because not much money was involved. So I calculated the amount for the 5-year project was 60,000 rupees. Just DADA and. But when I went to send to DRDO, I don't know. You are on DRDO, right? So can you imagine how much I was sanctioned? Within 2 weeks, I got a proposed sanction saying that 60 lakhs is sanctioned from 60,000 rupees became 60 lakhs.
Is it?
Not accept of that. Huge nothing about it. That is how we manage our money.
No, it is sanctioned through his department.
At
You're
the
not
third
sanctioned
point,
to
what
the
he was saying about
any
the
outside
US
agency.
comparison, and we are comparing
That's
the
what I
Indian
mean.
model and the US
How
model.
we run our use our money.
Sir, 1 second.
So now we are comparing US model and the Indian model. So in the US model, in the academics, why things are more product oriented, why people are more into product oriented projects is because the faculties as well as the students are funded by those projects. So if they don't have
Sorry,
those projects,
See, I'm sorry, I will have to barge in because both somewhere down the line, the way it seems to be going is US the projects, all faculty have to get projects to fund their students. And the assumption is all the projects are about products. That's not correct at all. Majority of the funding in US universities comes from NSF, not for product development, but for knowledge generation. Majority of the funding come from NSF because I'm afraid that Colonel Whelan was also saying the same thing. Saying every project that is funded to academia should be connected to a product development. That's definitely not correct. That's not the way it happens in US. Because if you only do product development in academia, which is really R&D of industry should be doing that, then no knowledge generation will happen. And if there is no knowledge generation, there is no future technology. Sorry for barging in. I have to cut in through because you are saying that everything is related to product. That's not correct. Majority of the funding comes from NSF. You can take a look at it in every university. Majority of the funding comes from National Science Foundation, and it is not for product development. That's not correct.
What I like to correct that part, I didn't say product development, I say industrial partner.
The industry, that's what I'm saying. It's not at all industry oriented. NSF funding is not restricted to industry.
Partner
In
is
fact,
required even for pure.
sorry, sir. No, sir. It's not true at all. NSF.
Pharma industry doing, what is my navigation industry doing?
Sir, you're now mixing up things. I'm saying, he said that in US it is that model. I'm saying in US it is not that model. NSF does not link any of this funding to any industry, period. And you need to have both kinds. I'm not saying only one kind should exist. You need to have kind where a DST or somebody is funding for blue sky research. You also need to have funding like TDF and various other funds which will involve industry. Let's not swing from one extreme to another extreme. Let's not swing from only DST kind of funds to only industry kind of funds. We need to have a good balance of everything.
yes, like I would
add to that. I don't. There in US, the funding agencies are not just government agencies. They also interact with the industry. The industry experts also are involved in this deciding what kind of projects should be thought of.
I'm so sorry to cut you off, but we should move to another topic now. Umha, I haven't heard from you in the panel so far. You bring in a point of view of a startup, of a quite young startup. So is the culture still the same what he was talking about? Do you think there has been a culture shift in startups?
Okay, I see collaboration is very different from what analysts have spoken about. Because here in India right now in startups like Agnikul, they are trying to extend R&D projects directly. Whatever will be the product development, whatever will be required for research of any like new technologies have been coming up that are very specific to small satellites or usability or for example 3D printing itself. There may be a little very different new tech. R&D associated with that, we are right now trying to give to IITs, ISTs and many other academic institutions. And then we are also people from like say for example talent acquisition or if anyone come for internships, all their projects that they do as like external projects that they do for longer like 2 years, 3 years. There are also R&D projects that will involve certain technology development for us. Just because it's a startup, we will have to complete it within a stipulated, like within a schedule. So we try to give projects like that will directly be used in our product. There will directly be a new tech in our product or a development there.
So, for both of you, how much of your R&D is funded by academic institutions, and how much of it is do you depend on investor capital?
For us, it is nothing is through investor. It is all through the funded projects, either through academics or through the industry.
Is that the same?
I wanted to ask Mr. Suresh a question because sir, you work in the very high tech area, very highly competitive area and requires very high technology at international standards and all that. And so far, you have used only imported equipment, right? Now, while we are very happy that you are looking at developing all those technologies in India, but I mean, how difficult you think this journey is going to be in terms of international certifications and because when we build products for that space where international certifications have to be there because of bilateral agreements and things like that, the products not only have to be built to international standards, they also have to be certified by them. So, I mean, that's the other level of preparedness that we need to have in various industries to make sure that our capabilities are such that when we certify, we are confident that it will pass any international certification. So, I just wanted to understand your thoughts on that because that's a thing which bothers us quite a lot.
Aviation, airport authority, we deal with one side is the navigation, air navigation side, another side is the security side. The security is controlled by the Bureau of Civil Aviation Security. Most of the equipment, the specification is developed by the Bureau of Civil Aviation Security. Then the product has to undergo for the certification by PICAS. For the air navigation facility like communication, navigation, surveillance, automation, airport system equipment, these are the 5 areas. There is no need of certification. We are looking for the partners, startups. You can come and work with us. We will be able to tell you what is our requirements. That's why I told that our presentation, we are having Civil Aviation Research Organization. We have newly constructed. It is empty. We are looking for the partners to develop the Indian solutions. Because in aviation, we used to say this is a safety critical applications, equipments we cannot able to buy locally. But past 2-3 years, we are also changed our mind to develop the Indian entrepreneur, Indian startup. We are looking to support. So the problem statement we are used to circulate yearly once. Otherwise, if you have some solution, you can approach to us, Airport Authority of India. We have got the set of evaluation committee. Then we can able to fund it to you, which is useful for the Airport Authority of India. If it is used for airlines, the fund has to come from the airlines. If the solution for the ground handling support system, we will not be supporting you. Initially, we were supporting for around 2 crores. Now we have increased to 2 to 5 crores. We can able to support any Indian startup companies. So any queries from your side you can ask. Like any unusual, not the routine works, we can engage the academia or institutions to get any detailed project reports or any solutions which we are looking. That we can able to award to any of the IITs or NITs or any other academia. Around 20 institution we have already listed. We can without any formality we can able to award the work to them. If any question from your side you can ask.
I think from now, because we are running out of time, we will be moving towards the final remarks. Before I do that, is there anybody from the audience who would like to have a very specific question, not a generalized comment, but a specific question for any of the panelists here?
I have one point. I mean, it's still a comment. I know you didn't want me to make a comment, but the point is, a whole lot of talks, whether it is when Uma Maheshwari talks or any industry talks or whatever it is, or for that matter, we talk to DRDO, whatever. I think our interactions have always been transactional. As in, a DRDO or an industry gives project to institute, and the institute delivers something, etc. I think what is missing, and which is why it does not work as well as it works in US, for example, is collaboration, right? We don't collaborate, we transact. In the sense that, see, when I worked on a project wherein, armed forces, Air Force was involved, GE aircraft engines was involved, and we in academia and Purdue were involved. All 3 of us worked together. It's not that they asked us to do something and we delivered it. That's not how it worked. We worked on that problem together, right? And that is something that is really, really lacking in India. And the problem is not one-sided. academia also has to come forward a little bit. Industry also has to understand that they have to be participative and not just give a project and say, deliver this to me. Right? We are not some outsourcing agents in academia. So we all have to work together to come up with a product. And that's the best way it works, is what I
And some 1 minute to that, one statement. I am representing IIT ACB, that is Alumni Center, Bangalore. All 23 IIT's research outcomes are supposed to be trickled down to society through a large process system with development agencies, then large industries, then medium, small scale, etc., and NGOs and individuals and alumni and all. So, in all this, what we have been finding is that the researchers are not willing to commit their TRL number, technology readiness number, level number. And we are asking, as alumni who are working with coordinating these projects, is that can we make an objective test method and acceptance criteria, which all of us can sit together, work, as you say, holistically, collaborate, and then everybody agrees on those norms for particular technologies, not for everything, or at least what are doable. So we have smaller groups and we agree on that. And once the objective criteria is decided, the test method is put out in standards. Because she correctly mentioned 2017, but then it doesn't have that. NASA is put out in 1957, and they are having their own transactional decisions based upon it. So I think this is the first thing if you do, then things will start to move. Because then everybody understands where is the point of mismatch.
For the final remarks, I'd like all of the panelists to tell me one thing that you would like to see change in the nature of collaborations between industry and academia. Just one top suggestion that comes to your mind, and an area in your research, in your work, that you are excited to see the benefits of from such collaborations. Something that has great potential for India. So these 2 points, and we can begin with you, Professor Pradeep, because you have to leave right now.
So I think I'll second what Professor Murthy mentioned. All these collaborations which at least worked for doing collaborations, not funded projects. I had specifically mentioned collab because it worked only because I had a partner in the other side who worked along with us on the project. It's not that, of course, they were funding it, yes, but then it was also a collaborative project for them because we were willing to invest not just the money but also human resource from their side, because for them that was the value add in addition to the fund as well, so that somebody else is getting trained on their side. So that is a key aspect that worked for me, and I think when Murthy said, I think very happy to hear that. So that's one thing I would like to see in all funded projects which are collaborative in nature. As far as areas are concerned, this area I work in is very fertile area in India because we don't have an engine, fortunately. And I think there is a lot of catching up to do, at least 30-40 years behind the rest of the world when it comes to engineering. There is a lot of potential to do a lot of work there. They've done well in space, but in terms of aviation, we don't have an engine.
Sure, would you like to?
Yeah, I have 2 short points, very short. First is I want the industry here to be missing. Not there. The second is we need to have an auto rickshaw engine first. That's it.
Industry is there, startup is there, so, but not the large industry.
We need the large industry, yeah, that's the point.
Exactly, I second his thoughts. The large industry has to be here to just simulate what is being discussed. They should be ready to give a push. Everything can't be left out to the startups. Startups, they are in the nascent stage. They have their sustainability issues. They should develop their marketability. Big industries can give an outlay, seeing the potential in the area wherever there can be development. They should be also brought on board to give a push. That's a valid point.
Hopefully, this recording will go to them.
The industries also, maybe we should ask the industries.
That's where.
As far as technology area to concentrate is again aviation technology is what I recommend, because this one technology has got ability to double your production capability for the same set of resource that you have. By reducing, this has been paper published by Debster Rees, Australian scientist, way back in 2000s. Published it and I have verified it. Many people have republished this thing, that what we call, we publish a paper where we examine a paper and publish it. Found it. So this technology, Indian government today talks about multi-trillion economy to be done. This technology will pave way for that target within 4 to 5 years time. And so we can concentrate on on multi-GNSS technology. Because India has got, not by design, by default, if you map all systems, but we have GPS system of America, GLONASS of Russia, Galileo of Europe, and QZSS of Japan. There are about 200 satellites that gives you positioning. India comes under the region of maximum number of satellite coverage, even without our IR analysis. So maximum, it comes in the region of maximum number of coverage. So by developing multi-GNSS, we can use all these satellites and develop ourselves. That's what first part. Second is, as I initially during discussion, I said, include financial people in all the discussions.
Dr. Sir, would you like to?
My talk also I said, few years, everybody is going to make major issue, survival or survival. So definitely lot of economic sense also makes sense whoever is really. So even for aviation, we want to really do that. That is one of the major challenge of predicting that fellows, etc. So this area, startups particular, we should work. Because our space programs, we follow the West or the US, whatever we do. That may not be done all the time. Some newer concepts, or even Indian startups should not have ISRO only as the model. Should have broader thinking process so that we should capture into new area very fast. So that should be encouraged.
Yeah.
That such a thing should originate from the academic.
So I will tell from the defense point of view, area that can be worked out. Like General Shankar mentioned, because there is a Ukraine-Russia conflict. So and India has been a net importer of weapons. So because of conflicts like this, geopolitical conflicts, the import as well as substitution of the old import becomes a problem. That is a big area which involves both refurbishment as well as, because this refurbishment has market not just in India, but a big export market. Because any Russian or Ukrainian origin weapon has gone at least to 20 countries if it has come to India. So it's a big market not just to supply to the Indian armed forces, but also to export to all those countries which would be looking for similar refurbishment, replacement of the Russian origin arms.
I think this is a very important point, because when you do that, you not only get a export market, but you also master the technology. In many cases, you have to do reverse engineering to get that technology, because today it's an opportunity worldwide, because today Russia is not able to meet up everyone's expectation in terms of spares and things like that. I think we have a long way to go here. A huge opportunity.
I think the situation will be same tomorrow also.
That's a different story.
So in that sense, a great opportunity. In that sense,
That's a great opportunity.
Technology, I see few things that are very new, very innovative tech that startups are bringing up today, or it is coming up, like the reusability itself in terms of cost cutting. I feel personally that's from Agnikul itself. If I would have to talk, if institutions can take up work on areas like that, where I see a little, because it is going to be time consuming because the tech is a little new. So it will take some amount of time to do the R&D, and we also don't have, or many startups don't have that much time. So those are areas where if people start working today, it will be beneficial.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you everyone for taking part in this panel discussion, and I'm so glad that it was very ferocious at times, and that was the fun of it. So I hope you all gained something out of it as well, and have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Members of some additional panel members. So, Shivati, any ribbons? See, that's the technology development. Maheshwari from Agnico.